is the Insta360 Go 2. And it's a camera so small, I could technically swallow it. I'm not gonna, but I could. And the amazing thing about this camera is that it actually delivers 1440p, can shoot up to 30 minutes at one time on that tiny battery. And if that is not enough, it comes with a case that can actually recharge it as well. Let's check it out and see what kind of quality and what kind of features we can expect from that tiny little camera. When I just opened the box of the Insta360 Go 2, I was impressed by how minimalistic and well designed it is. First, you see the camera in the middle of the box. Under it, you see all the accessories that come with it, and that's quite a few accessories. Also, you get this case that can charge the camera up to 5 times and is also the remote control and tripod for the camera, and it attaches to it magnetically. Next, you see the pendant that you can put on your neck and attach the camera magnetically to your shirt. Voila! And we have the cap attachment and the pivot stand that has a sticky surface that you can attach to different places and reuse many times by washing it under running water. The Insta360 Go 2 is a surprisingly capable camera for its size. On one hand, you could say it's a shame that this little thing cannot shoot in 4K, but as you can see, even at 2K upscaled, you can get pretty decent quality. That camera can also shoot in log and in different color profiles, and it has an app that gives you quite a bit of editing. You can use Insta360's mobile app to export the video, edit it, and basically download it directly from the camera. Or you can use the Insta360 desktop version of the app to do the same. Unfortunately, I found that the desktop version of Insta360 Studio is pretty limited. A bunch of the things I was expecting it to have are just not there. For example, if you shoot vertical footage, the camera doesn't know where is the horizon. I mean, it has an amazing horizon lock, right? It doesn't matter if you hold it straight. If I record like this, or like this, or like this, or basically in any orientation, it will keep the horizon level. While that camera is pretty amazing in what it can do, it has a few quite big cons. The first thing that completely caught me off guard was that even though this is a USB Type-C port, apparently the camera doesn't really support Type-C, which basically means that with my Mac or with my cell phone, I have to use a dongle to connect it to a Type-C port. And I cannot use my power bank to charge the case. Completely idiotic. Insta360, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do a Type-C port and then not support Type-C? Apparently it's a known thing. Let's go over the pros and cons of that camera. The first pro is that, well, it's a 1440p camera that you can basically swallow. And you can use it in almost any place. I mean, that thing is tiny. Here is the Go 2 compared to a GoPro. You can fit 2 Go 2s in one GoPro. That tiny thing is also waterproof up to 4 meters or 13 feet. It can shoot in log footage, and you get a bunch of accessories in the box. The same things in a GoPro, you would have to buy a bunch of different accessories to use with it. As far as the cons go, well, it's 1440p. And yes, that's a pro and a con. On one hand, I think it's an amazing feat of engineering that it is 1440p in such a tiny package. On the other hand, I wish it would be 4K. As I mentioned before, the USB-C to USB-C connector, I mean, that drives me crazy. It means I just have to carry another dongle in my camera bag after I got completely rid of any dongles, because everything else is Type-C and works with one Type-C cable. Another problem I have with the Go 2 is that when I put it on the pendant or I put it on the pivot stand and attach it to something, I can never know what its status, because either I need to open the case and connect to the camera, which takes a few seconds, or I need to look on the front of the camera to see what is it doing. And the result of that is that I basically go into the footage. I wish Insta360 would have a small LED on top that I could see what the status of the camera is, maybe even mirror the one on the front. And another small con, maybe that's a little bit of a nitpicking, but still it makes it harder for me to use the camera, is that there's too many different status lights. I mean, it's white when it shoots, but then suddenly it becomes yellow, and you have blue with blinking if it's in standby mode, and then you have blue with faster blinking if it's in time-lapse, and green and red, and so many colors. I mean, they are all in the documentation, they're all in the manual, but when you're in the field and kind of trying to use this as an action camera while doing some other action, good luck remembering all the different colors that camera can show. I wish the camera could also make maybe some small sound when it starts recording and ends recording, because while it has pretty strong vibrations when it's on you and you can definitely feel it, if the camera is on the pivot stand attached somewhere far from you, you have no idea that suddenly your 15 minutes are up and the camera has stopped recording. With all of that said, that camera for its size is amazing. For its size and for its price, it's amazing, because getting so much value at basically $300, I think that's amazing achievement, and I'm super curious to see what will Insta360 come up with in the Go 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate a like and subscribe, and definitely see you later.